Now, nearly 800 Sydney University students have voted for their student body to support and recognise a Palestinian state. They also pledged their support for the right of Palestinians to armed resistance at a student general meeting. Only two speakers in opposition to the motion were given the stage. One was spat at by students in the front rows, and the other was called a Zionist and told to leave the stage. And an amendment to condemn Hamas was voted down. Let me repeat that again. An amendment to condemn Hamas was voted down. Sydney University student and Director of Youth Policy at the Menzies Research Centre, Freya Leach, joins me now. Freya, tell me about this student general meeting. This is disturbing, even given what we know about Australian university campuses. How do we get to a situation where the majority of students vote against a motion to condemn Hamas?
Honestly, I am in disbelief as much as you are. I think we all knew campuses were toxic. We all knew that the levels of anti-Semitism we're seeing are unacceptable. But I think what last night showed is these people are not just anti-Israel, they're actually pro-Hamas, they're pro-terrorism, they refuse to condemn October 7. They laughed when I talked about the rape of Israeli women on October 7. They laughed when I talked about the treatment of queer people at the hands of Hamas in Gaza. They laughed when I talked about the importance of human rights and how there's no future for peace with Hamas in power in Gaza. They actually do not care about Palestinians. They just care about destroying Israel and terrorizing innocent Israelis until they achieve their, I don't know, global intifada, Palestinian liberation, whatever. It's terrible. It's genuinely shocking.
Well, tell me about the hostility in the room. And I cannot believe that they would laugh as you're speaking about the systematic rape and slaughter of innocent people their age. There were people, hundreds of people slaughtered at a music festival. So for them to have no empathy for these innocent souls is... frankly, it sends a chill up my spine. But what's it like on campus if you are pro-Israel, if you're a Jewish student who's proud of your heritage, if you're conservative? How do you cope having that hostility in your face day in and day out?
Well, it's really hard. So in that meeting, that one lecture theatre, there were probably 800 people. There were 3 other sites also hosting meetings that were linked up by Zoom. So there were a couple hundred extra students as well. Out of that room, there were about 7 of us members of the Conservative Club who rocked up to support Israel. 7 out of 800 in the room. When I got up, you're talking to a wall of people who are just consumed by hatred, consumed by it. And I've never had that experience where I was talking to people and I felt like they didn't even see me as a human being. Because of my views, because I was standing with Israel against terrorism, the way they were screaming at me, I had one girl screaming Allahu Akbar in my face. They don't see you as human anymore. And I think that's what we've lost. We've always, campuses have always been hotbeds for political activism and debate, and that's how it should be. But now this is not activism, it is actually just hate, and it's all about spreading hate and shutting down anybody that disagrees with you and dehumanizing them. And I'm scared, to be honest, about the future of our country. The reality is a lot of the left-wing political leaders made their start on campus, like Albo, who was a pro-Palestine activist back in the day, and he went on to become prime minister. So where are these pro-Hamas students going to end up? Unfortunately, some of them might end up running the country. And then I think Australia will be in a world of trouble.
And Freya, these are precisely the type of people who preach love, tolerance, inclusion, and yet they're filled with hate and bile. But who are they? Are they the usual suspects who are in every protest, whether it's climate change, Australia Day, or is there ones with Muslim backgrounds who are leading this movement?
So there are two groups of students leading this movement. The one group is that same professional activist student body who are in the 10th year of their arts degree and constantly out at Sydney Uni trying to enlist and indoctrinate poor first years into tearing down Western civilization and joining the Intifada. So it's unsurprising that Chickens for KFC showed up last night. But the other group that was there were the Sydney University Muslim Students Association. That's the other group that was also behind the encampment and now leading this charge against Israel at Sydney Uni. And so what is very interesting is it's a very unholy alliance between those two groups. On the one hand, you have these radical socialists who are LGBTQIA plus, socialists, huge lefties, extremely ultra progressive. And then you have girls in burqas who believe in Sharia law and subscribe to very, very conservative Islamic views. And they're kind of coming together on this, which is totally bizarre. But I will say, I think the alliance, at least at USyd, is starting to fracture. So last night, all of the socialists were in the main auditorium where I spoke, and all the Muslims, the Muslim students, part of the Muslim Students Association, were in a chemistry building on the other side of campus and only linked up by Zoom. So increasingly, we're starting to
There
see the
might
two
be
groups split away.